For 100 years, the galaxy knew peace. They thought humanity had gone silent forever. But the day one human woke up, the war everyone feared came roaring back. And this time, there would be no survivors. The stasis pod hissed open. Cold vapor rolled across the dimly lit chamber, pooling at the floor like battlefield fog. Inside, Commander Elias Cade's eyes opened. Not with confusion of someone waking after decades, but with a sharp, calculating awareness of a soldier who already knew the war wasn't over. The Galactic Concord had declared peace 5 years ago. That was before Cade was frozen in stasis, before the Battle of Vega Prime, before the final treaty. But peace in the galaxy was a brittle thing, and Cade had lived through enough campaigns to know treaties were just a pause between reloads. 2 armored figures stood before his pod, insignia gleaming in the sterile light. They wore the dark blue of the Terran Strategic Command, but their posture screamed unease. Soldiers trained to stand unshaken looked tense. "Commander," the taller one began, voice steady but eyes locked forward. "By authority of High Command, you are hereby reinstated under wartime protocol." Wartime. Cade's voice was gravel. Too many years without use, but every word carried the weight of command. "You'd better explain before I think this is some kind of joke." The second officer, younger but with the kind of scars you don't get in drills, stepped forward. "Sir," the piece collapsed. Not in the way anyone predicted. The Karth Dominion didn't just break the treaty. They've taken entire sectors overnight. Communications blackouts, planetary purges. It's worse than the early days of the First Contact War. Cade stepped out of the pod, boots thudding on the steel deck. His eyes flicked to the tactical holo projected in the center of the room. Entire swaths of Terran-controlled space glowed crimson. Frontier colonies gone. Fleet positions fragmented. And the fleet? Cade asked. The younger officer hesitated. That was all the answer Cade needed. He picked up the datapad from the briefing table. Fleet rosters decimated. Half the carrier groups destroyed in the first 72 hours. The rest scattered in retreat. High Command had gone silent after transmitting a single, encrypted order, "Awaken Cade." It wasn't a request. He turned to the officers. "Gear me up. Full combat loadout. I want my squad." "Sir," the taller one said quietly, "your squad, they're gone. All of them. Only you remain." The air in the room thickened, but Cade didn't flinch. "Then I'll build another. From what's left." The lift of the armory was silent, save for the hum of grav engines. Cade's mind wasn't on the loss of his squad. Not yet. Loss was a luxury you processed after the fight. Instead, he ran to the operational map in his head, recalling every known Karth tactic, every blind spot they'd left in prior campaigns. The Karth Dominion wasn't an empire in the traditional sense. They were a predator species, evolved in constant war, their fleets moving like hunting packs. Cade had fought them before. He knew their rhythms. And he knew they'd never have risked open war unless they believed humanity had gone soft in the so-called peace. The lift doors opened to the armory, a cathedral of steel, weapons racked like sacred relics. The quartermaster, an old Marine with cybernetic arms, froze when he saw Cade. "Commander, I'll be damned. Didn't think they'd thaw you out unless the sky was actually falling." "It's falling," Cade said flatly. "I need a full ops kit. And a Corvette, stealth-capable." The quartermaster whistled low, but didn't argue. Within minutes, Cade was strapped into a reinforced combat exosuit, the armor plating etched with old campaign scars. His rifle, a custom Terran Gauss, 98, was exactly where he left it before stasis, its surface marked with the names of every soldier he'd lost. As he locked the rifle to his back, the quartermaster leaned closer. "They say the Karth aren't just hitting colonies. They're targeting command structures. No survivors. Not even civilians. Something's different this time." Cade's eyes narrowed. "They're trying to break the chain before it forges." A chime sounded. Priority 1 transmission. The holoscreen flickered to life, revealing Admiral Juno, her face drawn tight. "Cade, we don't have time for formalities. The Dominion's main fleet is massing near Helios Gate. If they take it, the inner colonies will be cut off from supply lines." "How many ships do we have there?" Her pause was answer enough. Cade's tone was ice. Give me access to the fleet remnants. I'll take Helios Gate. You can't hold it. Juno shot back. Even at your best. I'm not holding it, Cade interrupted. I'm baiting them. I want them all in one place. The channel went silent. Then, slowly, Juno nodded. God help you, Elias. God won't help them, Cade replied, stepping into the Corvette's cockpit. But I will. The ship's engines roared to life. The deck shuddered as it lifted off, breaking free of the docking clamps. Outside, the void stretched infinite and cold, but for Elias Cade it felt like home. War had returned to the galaxy, and so had he. The military tribunal chamber was silent, except for the low hum of the atmospheric regulators. Thick steel walls, scarred from decades of service, encased a room like a fortress within a fortress. General Mara Vance stood at the center table, her hands resting on a holographic display of planetary defense grids. Every inch of her posture radiated command. Across from her sat Admiral Thorne, a man who had not worn ceremonial white since the war's official end 12 years ago. His voice was low, deliberate. They breached 3 colonies without a formal declaration. Whoever's orchestrating this isn't testing our borders. They're erasing them. Mara didn't blink. Then we erased them first. The other officers in the chamber shifted uncomfortably. The peace accords had forbidden preemptive strikes. Earth's military was officially defensive now, a shadow of the Death World force it had once been. But Mara knew the accords were a cage built by enemies too scared to fight humanity head-on. Colonel Holt, her second-in-command, activated the next data stream. A 3-dimensional render of an alien battle group appeared. Sleek, jet-black cruisers with the unmistakable crest of the Ketheri Dominion. Our intelligence suggests these aren't rogue units. The Dominion fleet is mobilizing under covert orders. Thorne's eyes narrowed. They're betting we won't wake the sleeping giant. Mara's lips curled into something between a smile and a snarl. They're wrong. She tapped a sequence on the holotable, and the map zoomed out to reveal a grid of red-marked sectors. Here's where we hit them. Communication hubs, supply depots, and their forward shadow fleets. They think they're preparing for an invasion. We make sure they never get that far. But, Holt warned, once we act, the accords are void. Every species on the council will call it an unprovoked escalation. Mara turned to him, her voice sharp as a blade. Colonel, the galaxy was peaceful for one reason. They feared us. The moment that fear fades, peace dies. It's already dying. I'm not waiting for the corpse to rot. The tribunal ended without a formal vote. No one had the courage to stand against her, not openly. Within hours, encrypted orders rippled through Earth's Black Ops channels. The Aegis Strike Group, humanity's most lethal mobile fleet, began silent departure protocols. No public announcement, no media leaks, just a quiet, methodical movement of war machines slipping from dry docks into the void. Mara watched from the command balcony as the flagship Iron Resolve detached from its moorings. The massive dreadnought's hull shimmered in the artificial sunlight, its gun port sealed, its engines whispering low power as it drifted out like a predator stalking prey. She remembered the last time humanity had gone to war, how the skies of alien worlds burned red, how fleets had vanished under the relentless coordination of human tactics. The galaxy had called them monsters. Mara hadn't disagreed. But this time, she wasn't seeking conquest. This was a surgical purge, a message written in fire. The first target was Station Saren 5, a Dominion refueling and logistics node buried in the asteroid belt of an uncharted system. Ketheri intelligence believed it hidden. It wasn't. Mara's infiltration AI had been watching its traffic for months. In the silent dark, human stealth frigates slipped into the asteroid field. No warnings. No demands, just precision strikes. Railgun slugs ripped through docking arms, reactor cores when critical, and the station's defensive turrets never even came online. The Ketheri survivors scrambled escape pods, but even they were intercepted, not to kill, but to deliver a message. Each pod carried a single data core with the same transmission. You broke the peace. You woke us. We are coming. By the time the Dominion's high command received the footage, Iron Resolve was already en route to the next target. In the quiet of her command chair, Mara Vance allowed herself a single thought. The galaxy is about to remember why it feared humans. The news of Earth's reactivation was no longer rumor. It was a confirmed nightmare for the rest of the galaxy. Every surveillance probe sent toward Sol vanished without a trace. Interstellar traffic in the surrounding sectors dropped to zero. No one dared to approach. In the deep bunkers beneath Antarctica, Admiral Cade stood in front of the Strategic Command Board, a massive holographic display showing the galaxy in real time. Red flares marked recent pirate attacks, orange clusters marked brewing insurgencies, and a single, growing blue sphere marked the human response zone. A comms officer's voice trembled. "Sir, the orbital shipyards are operating at full capacity. We're clocking a dreadnought completion every 19 hours. How is that even possible?" Cade didn't answer. He knew why. The emergency resurgence protocol had been activated, something so classified that only 3 people alive knew the full details. It wasn't just a military program. It was the awakening of Earth's entire industrial war machine, hidden for centuries in hollowed asteroids, sealed vaults under oceans, and deep core manufactories on every human colony world. Across the galaxy, alien military councils debated frantic measures. Most dismissed the threat, until their sensors began detecting movement. A human battle fleet, the first Resurgence Armada, was on the move. Its destination? Unknown. Its speed? Terrifying. In the ruins of a former human colony on Veltron 4, an alien occupation force began panicking when their scanners picked up atmospheric entry burns. Thousands of them. Drop pods slammed into the surface with precision that defied any alien targeting system. The soldiers inside didn't waste a second. What landed wasn't just infantry. These were Resurgence Marines, the elite of elites. Their armor was matte black, with adaptive plating that shifted according to enemy fire patterns. Each carried an AI-assisted weapon system, capable of identifying and exploiting weaknesses in alien shields in milliseconds. The aliens opened fire. The humans didn't slow down. They advanced methodically, almost silently, leaving nothing but wreckage in their wake. From orbit, the HNS Valiant coordinated the assault, cutting through enemy comms, redirecting their own artillery to fire on their positions, and dropping orbital strikes only meters from advancing human lines without harming them. The precision was surgical. By the time the alien reinforcement arrived, the humans were already gone, taking the colony's command center, databanks, and every scrap of military intelligence with them. In the Galactic core, whispers turned into panic. An alien strategist in the High Council's war chamber slammed his claws on the table. They were supposed to be gone. Extinct. You promised us the humans were finished. Another voice answered from the shadows, calm, cold, and terrifyingly certain. They were never gone, the human envoy said, stepping forward. We were just sleeping. The council chamber fell silent as a massive projection lit up the room, real-time tracking of human fleets deploying from hundreds of hidden systems. The sleeping giant wasn't just awake. It was moving, and nothing in the galaxy could stop it. The council chambers, once the heart of the galaxy's post-war diplomacy, were now a fortified bunker. Guards from half a dozen species manned checkpoints, their weapons set to maximum output. Yet, every face in the room shared the same tension. They all knew why they were here. The holo projector flickered, displaying tactical feeds from the front lines. Red icons bloomed across the map like an infection. The human strike groups weren't pushing randomly. Every attack cut deeper into the galaxy's infrastructure, bypassing strongholds to cripple energy grids, jump relays, and supply hubs. This wasn't a brawl. It was surgical annihilation. Your fleets are falling back too quickly, Admiral Serkan of the Vral barked. His long claws tapped the table. Hold them at the Midar line. That's suicide, another general growled. The humans have ghost fleets. They appear where our scanners show nothing, then our ships vanish. The Midar line will be a graveyard. At the far end of the table, the chair of the council, a tall, thin avian with skin like glass, raised a trembling hand. We must negotiate before there is nothing left to negotiate for. The word negotiate drew bitter laughter from the Terran war feed. still looping in the background. Human Admiral Kalen's voice echoed over the intercepted transmission. Negotiate? You broke our peace. You woke something you can't put back to sleep. Now, you'll see war in its truest form. A sudden alarm ripped through the chamber. The projection shifted. The human 1st Orbital Assault Division had bypassed the core defenses entirely and was now above Caprica Prime, the very seat of the Galactic Council. How? Serkin stammered, staring at the impossible jump coordinates. The Avuan chair whispered. The old Terran War Archive said it. If a human chooses to end a war, they end it in one move. On the feed, Kalen appeared again, helmet off, eyes like cold steel. Behind him, the atmosphere of Caprica Prime burned. This ends tonight. Your fleets stand down now, or your council will be a memory. No one in the room spoke. The humans had no more need for diplomacy. Within the hour, every species signed the unconditional surrender. The council was dissolved. The war that ended decades ago had truly ended, this time not with treaties, but with one human making sure it could never start again. And somewhere, far beyond the shattered fleets, Earth Silent Command archives recorded the operation under one word: resurgence.